propagandist, extremely dishonest, lacking in integrity, much more dishonest and partisan and one-sided than the dishonest, partisan, one-sided mainstream media. Worse than MSNBC, worse than CNN, worse than Fox News is Jimmy Dore. All of those networks are way more objective than Jimmy Dore. I know many people who struggle to understand that concept. They will say you're calling mainstream media objective, even though I specifically said the opposite. Somehow, I don't know why that's a difficult concept. You can have two, like, this form of media is dishonest. This form of media is dishonest, but they're not exactly the same level of dishonesty. One is more dishonest than the other. Saying that one is less dishonest is not saying that it's not dishonest, right? CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, corporate propaganda networks. Jimmy Dore, independent propaganda news channel. So I did a video earlier predicting what Jimmy Dore would do to deceive his audience about Matt Taibi and Mehdi Hassan interview. Now, for those of you with good media literacy, you should have been able to predict his take as I did. Matt Taibi is friendly to what I call the blue MAGA squad, right? These guys, you know, Glenn Greenwald, right? They're in that circle. Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald. And on YouTube, it's basically high school. So you have these cliques, right? So these bunch of channels, they bunch together and they all defend each other. These are the ones who will do these videos about X such and such smeared such and such, right? That's just putting up the bat signal that, hey, I'm part of this tribe, right? So anybody that likes the person who's getting quote unquote smeared, they'll come over and they'll get that copium. Oh, this is a great video. This is real journalism, right? Because you're defending somebody that they idolize, somebody that they have been hoodwinked by their propaganda content, right? So again, with good media literacy, you should have, before even watching Jimmy Dore's video, you know that he needs to come to the defense of Matt Taibi, right? Matt Taibi, again, is in that circle. They're in that clique. So he's got to find a way to defend him. Now, that video wasn't a good look for anyone watching it with objectivity. From his perspective of, it made Matt Taibi look bad. Gotcha. So since it made him look bad, that means, again, logically, I'm not like some genius for predicting exactly what Jimmy Dore did. Logically, what do you got to do? You've got to find, ironically, do exactly what they accuse Hassan of doing, right? You've got to nitpick, right? That's what you do. If you're in that blue MAGA tribe, right, you have to find a way to defend Matt Taibi and to distract from things that made him look bad. So what do? You nitpick. Watch that entire video and look for any moment where Matt Taibi said something that you can frame as an own or might actually be an own, right? And then you just ignore everything else. Any moments where Matt Taibi looks bad, ignore it. You didn't see it, never heard about it, right? And you make an entire video nitpicking about the stuff that you can frame to make Matt Taibi look good, or he actually did look good where he made up one, right? That is what someone who has no integrity, who's super dishonest and a propagandist, that's what you would do. This is the same kind of techniques that Jimmy Dore will point out MSNBC doing and CNN doing, right? When they wanted to go on the natural origin thing, they wanted to diminish any talk about the lab leak. It's associated with Trump. They know that's not gonna, that's not gonna do very well in their channel, right? Their anti-Trump audience doesn't want to hear them validating something that Trump said, right? So they need to stick with the natural origin, right? That was the original information that we had. But then there was some information that was pushing maybe lab leak, right? But they're not allowed to go and talk about that, and that's also not a profitable thing, right? So what do? Any information that supports natural origin, they report on it. Oh, look at this and that, and the genetic thing, and Dr. Fauci said this, that. Anything that supports lab leak, don't say anything, ignore it, downplay it, right? There's certain people, conspiracy theorists, that are saying X, Y, and Z about this lab leak thing, but the experts say that that's absolutely rubbish, right? That's what Jimmy Dore did, right? It's like a 30-minute interview, right, of Hassan digging into Matt Taibi on multiple points, challenging him. Matt Taibi unable to defend his positions. Matt Taibi looking like a fool. But many people won't even watch the interview and won't know this. What do? They'll watch Jimmy Dore and anybody in that clique nitpick, selectively reporting on anything that they could frame Matt Taibi as a champion. Right? That's exactly what Jimmy Dore did. Right? Let me tell you, this is how dishonest and a liar and a fraud Jimmy Dore is. I waited for him to post a video to clip out of his live stream, right? That went private. I waited for him to clip out from that and to see if he was going to do what I did. I did a video basically pretending I was him and giving a Jimmy take, right? And what do you know? Jimmy does exactly what I predicted. So I saw the video posted and I said, okay, let me see his take now. So now he's finally posted it up. So let me see what Jimmy's take is. Does he give an honest take, an objective take? Does he talk about the actual interview? Or does he do what I said? What did I say ahead of time? I said, focus on lighter details, like if you have like some substantial details, right, that don't make Matt Taibi look good, ignore those and find the most trivial things that you can nitpick on. Ironically, this is what they were claiming, right? Find the most, small details and just keep talking about that. Make the whole, so that's how you frame the whole story. So now the whole story is about these tiny things that you think, or you can frame that Matt Taibi wants. So what do? Exactly that. The whole thing that they focus on is, Hassan is nitpicking what Matt Taibi said. He's nitpicking. What's the nitpicking? Oh, they found errors. I mean, that's an easy one to fool people with, right? Because people believe they'll hear what they want to hear, right? They believe what they want to believe, right? So if you're in that squad and you idolize Matt Taibi, right? You hate people in mainstream media that do the same thing he does, but for some reason you idolize him. He's some real journalist, right? So if that's how you feel, right? And I come to you as a blue MAGA propagandist and I say to you, oh, Hassan, what's the big thing? He's dunking on whatever. Oh, he pointed out that Matt Taibi made some mistakes, right? It's a lot of information. You're gonna make mistakes, and that's like as a reasonable thing. Again, if you like Matt Taibi, this is something that will be very, very effective in manipulating you, because you'll think about it and you say, wait a minute. So that's the whole point. The whole point is they want to say he made a mistake. I mean, and then you think about, oh, how many mistakes does mainstream media make, right? So one of the first things that I said he was gonna do is I said spend a lot of time going after the character of Hassan and going after MSNBC, right? That's what I said. Instead of attacking the substance of the argument, right? Hassan went after Matt Taibi about certain things. Hassan is asking this. What is Matt Taibi's response? Tell your audience, inform your audience about your perspective of a question being asked, a tough question being asked to Matt Taibi and his response. Instead of doing that, Jimmy Dore literally spent the first 5 minutes of the video doing exactly what I said he would do. Exactly what I'd expect a liar to do. The whole time he spent talking about, oh, MSNBC and look what they did about this thing and Russiagate this and that. How is that relevant? You're doing a video about an interview. You want to claim that Matt Taibi won. Why don't you start with showing how he won? What relevance is, and you got to think. People watching Jimmy Dore are going to be definitely anti-mainstream media people, right? So your audience already has no respect for mainstream media. So why would you spend the first 5 minutes knowing that most people don't even watch the full video, right? That's how it is on YouTube. Why would you spend the first half of the video feedback loop to your audience? An audience of people who hate mainstream media. Instead of talking about the interview, you spend half of the video saying, mainstream media sucks, mainstream media sucks, mainstream media sucks. Oh, Hassan was wrong about this thing. What is the point of saying stuff that you already know your audience, that they believe they hate mainstream media, they're going to have a negative feedback, opinion of this guy, right? So why, as a professional, you've been on YouTube for a long time, he knows what he's doing, why did he choose to start not with the substance, but to talk about their character? Now flip this, right? Flip this. So Majority Report, let's say they decide to do a video, right, about Jimmy Dore's take on what they call the what's it called, the paste, horse paste, right? So let's say Majority Report wants to do a video going after Jimmy Dore for his take on horse paste. Now imagine that they spend 5 minutes. Oh, Jimmy Dore, this is the guy who was spreading misinformation about this thing and misinformation about that thing. And Jimmy Dore, he's known for, and I'm not saying that they don't do that stuff. I'm pretty sure they do, but I'm just saying, think about, if you like Jimmy Dore, think about what you would think of a Majority Report video that is supposed to be about a take that he had that spends half of the video attacking Jimmy Dore's character and his take on something else, and his channel is trash and this and that. 5 minutes, half the video. Think about how you would think about Majority Report doing that. And again, I'm sure they do that. That's not the point. The point is, how would you react to that? I'm sure you would say, oh, look at these guys, right? They're not even listening to the substance of what Jimmy Dore is saying. Right? Jimmy Dore made a video talking about how this medicine has been used for a long time. It's not just used on horses, right? It has a track record. It's the side effects are not bad. Instead of talking about that, the Majority Report spent 5 minutes attacking Jimmy Dore's character. Oh, that's when they would post a video saying Majority Report smears Jimmy Dore, right? That's what they would do. Majority Report smears Jimmy Dore. But when Jimmy Dore spends 5 minutes, instead of attacking the substance of Hassan's arguments, attacking, MSC, and again, I don't like MSC, they're trash, right? They're a trash network, right? But the point is, just like how, if you have a problem with something Jimmy said, instead of going after the substance of what he said, spending half the video attacking his character, just like how that's garbage, it's garbage for Jimmy Dore to spend 5 minutes not addressing any points that Hassan made, but attacking his character and the network that he's on. Especially since he's not informing anybody because his audience already hates MSNBC. So why would he choose to do this unless he's trying to deceive his audience, right? He wants to distract from the substance of the debate, right? That's the only reason why Jimmy Dore, who's not an idiot, would spend half of his video attacking the network and Hassan rather than Hassan's arguments and the substance of the interview. This is what a liar, manipulator, propagandist does. This is what MSNBC does. This is what CNN does. This is what Brian Tyler Cohen does. This is what TYT does. This is what Fox does. Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder. This is what American propagandists, corporate and especially independent, this is what they do. They distract you. They deflect. They try to change the topic. They twist things around. Half the video, let's attack the network and attack the guy, right? So that's how we did his video, right? How did I predict he would do exactly that? Why? Because I thought to myself, if I'm a lying fraud, right, and I'm a propagandist, and I'm part of this clique, and I need to protect him and make him look good, what would I do? And that's what I thought of, right? That's exactly what I would do. If I were part of this Blue MAGA clique, and I wanted to defend Matt Taibi, that is exactly what I would do. Change the topic, ignore the substance, pick on the most trivial details of the argument. Oh, he's pointing out errors. Oh, he's pointing out errors. Everybody makes errors. Oh, he tried to say that Matt Taibi's a bad person because he's getting money for his work. Oh my, like that's what I would do. Right? Why do you think it is that they are doing? Jimmy Dore did exactly what I would do if I wanted to manipulate my audience. If I wanted to be part of this blue MAGA clique, right? That is the way I would play it. Why is it just so happens that Jimmy Dore does exactly what I would do if I wanted to deceive my audience? So again, first 5 minutes he spends, what is he doing? He is attacking the network, attacking Hassan, right? Instead of attacking the argument, which again, Jimmy Dore's audience would call out the liberal media for doing the same thing Jimmy Dore did. So when he gets beyond that, what does he move on to? Of course. Oh, he's nitpicking. Oh, they said he is a CIS and it's really CISA. Oh, that's all they have. That's all they have. Oh, a half an hour interview, I think it was. You think that that's all they talked about? Why did Jimmy Dore in his video not mention a single point of substance that Hassan brought up? Why did Breaking Points do the exact same thing? They didn't mention a single detail of substance that Hassan did. If you don't watch the interview and you only watch Breaking Points and you only watch Jimmy Dore, you would think all Hassan did, right? Hassan, who's a fraud and he's an MSNBC and Russiagate. All he did was nitpick about, oh, you made this mistake and oh, you made that mistake. You wouldn't even realize the reason that this debate came to be in the first place, because Matt Taibi got called out by Hassan, right? Hassan called him out knowing that he's a fraud and he doesn't really care about freedom of speech. So therefore, a story showing that Elon Musk colluding, I believe, with a foreign government to suppress speech is not something Matt Taibi would want to cover, right? That was Hassan's assertion. Matt Taibi is dishonest, doesn't care about freedom of speech, so he's not going to want to talk about it in this context to make Elon Musk look bad, right? Again, watching Breaking Points, watching Jimmy Dore, you're not even going to know this. They completely ignored one of the most substantive thing of the conversation, right? So Hassan says sarcastically, oh, Matt Taibi is going to be all over this. So what does Matt Taibi say? Oh, since you know exactly what I would say, why don't you invite me on your show? Right? Oh, he's ready. Then he invites him on the show. Hassan asks him, yo, what do you think about this thing? Oh, I haven't looked at it. Jimmy Dore is not going to inform his audience that Matt Taibi basically owned himself, proving that Hassan was correct. The very genesis of this whole thing that led to debate was proven, right? Again, Hassan's assertion is you're not going to want to touch this, right? Because you're partisan, you're biased, you don't really care about freedom of speech. You're just sitting here gassing up Elon Musk, oh, Twitter files and this and yes, you know, right? That's Hassan's assertion. You don't really care about this stuff. So you're not going to report on this story. So what does he do? Not report on the story. And in fact, he comes on the show to talk about it, and he claims he doesn't know anything about it, right? That is evidence that Hassan was correct, right? Because if he didn't really know about it when he was on Twitter, he would have looked into it, right? And then looking into it, he probably would have seen, wow, this is a bad look for Elon Musk. And because Hassan was correct, Hassan's assertion is you're not going to want to touch this because you don't really care about holding the powerful their feet to the fire, right? You only doing it selectively to pander to a certain audience. So you're not going to want to do it in this case. That is what Hassan said. And then Matt Taibi proves Hassan correct by coming on the interview, and he doesn't prepare. He doesn't look into the story. Why? As Hassan asserted by being sarcastic and saying, I bet you was all over it, right? Matt Taibi doesn't care about this stuff, and he's not going to want to talk about it because he's not going to want to say something that makes Matt Taibi look bad. And Jimmy Dore's not going to tell you how Matt Taibi went, and he's talking to fraud like Jim Jordan. Like, should we get into those boys that were molested and what Jim Jordan, what did he speak up? Did he do anything about it? Should we get into those scandals? Should we get into any of the scandals of what Jim Jordan has done? And then Matt Taibi, who's a real journalist, right? It's one thing for you to, okay, so you realize that you got this duopoly. Democrats suck, Republicans suck, right? But you really care about freedom of speech. So Republicans, who you know are corrupt, just like Democrats, you know that they're friends, you know that they serve their corporate donors, right? So the same way you go after Democrats, you know these are their good buddies in the Republican Party, right? So if that's really your position, and they come to you and they say, we want you to testify about this Twitter files, freedom of speech stuff, right? I could see you putting aside your distaste for these corrupt politicians, and let's be professional, right? Okay, you want me to testify? Fine. Me personally, if I came in there, I would definitely look for opportunities to actually put some digs on a Republican. I'm not going to let them use me as a tool, right? I will come and testify. If I'm the freedom of speech guy, yeah, I'm going to come and do it, right? If they're the ones calling me in, great, I'm going to come in. But I'm going to get some digs in on the Democrats' good friends, the Republicans. I'm not going to come in there and just be saying what you want. What did Jim Jordan want? He wants Matt Taibi to say, oh, they're going after conservatives and this and that and the Twitter before. That's what Jim Jordan, those corrupt Republicans want. And that's exactly what he did and nothing else, right? He ain't putting any pressure on them. But okay, fine. So you care about freedom of speech. They called you. You put it aside just because you really care about this stuff, right? But why the fuck are you online talking about it's an honor? It was an honor. Like, what? Why would you say that? Right? If you really care about it, yeah, I'll go. I'll put my stuff aside, just give me aside, because I put what is more important to me. I put that above everything else, right? So I'm going to put aside that I don't like these people, and I'm going to go and be a voice for the unheard. I'm going to talk about how, I'm going to expose the Twitter files and the freedom of speech stuff or whatever, right? But after that, that's it. I'm good. I'm not friends with you guys, right? The same way I go after Democrats, I go after Republicans. I am not friends with the corrupt politicians. So you're not getting oh, it's an honor. That's unnecessary. I can be civil. I can be professional with you. I don't got to tell you nothing about it's no honor. It ain't no goddamn honor to be doing nothing with no lying, fraud politicians in either party, right? So you're not going to hear any of that on Jimmy Dore, right? You're not going to hear about that. You're not going to hear about how this whole thing started. He's not going to, he didn't touch any of this stuff. His whole video is trashing on MSNBC, who is a trash network, right? I agree with Jimmy Dore on that one, right? Trashing on MSNBC, trashing on Hassan. I don't know much about Hassan, right? All I know is he's on a trash network, so that is suspect. But he spends half the video trashing the network, trashing Hassan, and then the only kind of point that he brings up is errors. He's pointing out errors. So again, to the Jimmy Dore audience, who is not going to watch the actual interview, they think the substance of the debate was, trash MSNBC coming after Matt Taibi because he's holding power to account or whatever. Like he's going after them, and that they all coming through the woodworks. You gotta attack so-called journalist. He's a so-called journalist. He's not a real journalist. Like that's what I would get. If I'm a Jimmy Dore fan, that's what I would get. It's all an attack because he's calling out the system or whatever, right? And what is the substance of the attack? He made a few mistakes. Oh my goodness, what a joke Hassan was. Only that is not what happened, right? Hassan went in with Matt Taibi on several points of substance. But all the dishonest liars on YouTube are going to focus primarily on the fact that he called out mistakes. Because like I said, that's a standard tactic. You pick the lightest weight thing to focus on so you can ignore the substance, right? It's the exact same thing that MSNBC and CNN did with the so-called horse paste, right? Let's ignore the fact that this medication has been used for a long time. The side effects are not really that serious, right? Let's ignore the fact that it's used on humans, right? We're not going to give our audience the full context, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do Jimmy Dore, right? We're going to focus on this is something that's used on horses. Oh, it's horse pace, horse pace, horse pace. Oh, they use it. That's what Jimmy Dore did, right? All the points brought up. What's he talking about? Oh, he brings up that he made mistakes. How many mistakes have MSNBC made? He did exactly what I predicted he would do based on me thinking about if I'm a lying fraud and I'm part of this Blue MAGA squad, this Glenn Greenwald, Matt Taibi high school squad. We're in a group. We got to defend each other. He's smearing such and such smearing this person, such and such smearing that person, right? If I'm part of that squad, right, and I want to deceive my audience about what really happened, I would do exactly what he did. And the fact that I predicted his take before he did it, I think is some level of validation to I might be onto something about what Jimmy Dore is really all about, right? What these dishonest, independent media folks who like to pretend, oh, because I'm not corporate, somehow that means I'm honest, right? Just me being in my basement, right? Look at me right now. I'm sitting in my car. I'm not in some fancy studio, right? I'm just a regular guy. So because of that, that means that unlike corporate media, I don't care about profits, right? I don't care about engagement. What do you think corporate media cares about? Why are they so trash? Because it's all about the profits. It's all about the engagement. What you think independent media is all about. That's what people got to understand, man. These folks in independent media, they are not philanthropists, right? They're not doing some volunteer work. They are running businesses, just like MSNBC and CNN is. And what is the purpose of a business? The purpose of a business is to generate profit. What is the best way to generate profit in the media, whether you're corporate or independent? Pander to a demographic. That's what Jimmy Dore does, Fox does, CNN, MSNBC, TYT, Brian Tyler Cohen. Independent media, the most dishonest and partisan part of our media, hiding behind, I'm just a comedian, or I'm just a YouTuber, oh, I'm not really a journalist, right? Oh, I'm honest about the fact that I'm partisan. I don't hide that I'm a conservative. I don't hide that I'm progressive. Like, that's the bullshit excuses they tell you to justify doing exactly what mainstream media does, but doing it much, much worse. Right? And that is why I'm probably the only channel that you will hear going after independent media as much as I do corporate media, right? Think about it. All of the most serious journalists you see or YouTubers who do political commentary, right? How many of them actively call out independent media, right? Unless it's not really independent media, it's just right-wing media, right? That's what you'll see. You see TYT constantly going after, oh, these right-wing media guys, right-wing media. Now, they won't use the word independent media, right? They love talking about, oh, corporate media and mainstream media. Mainstream media is horrible and corporate. We're not corporate. As if it's being corporate that's the problem, as opposed to being focused primarily on profits being the issue. It's a profit problem. It's a profit obsession problem. It's not about whether you're corporate or whether you're independent. And in fact, one of the advantages of corporate media, even though they're trash, is they have at least accountability. The accountability is very low. The bar is very low. But there is. Don Lemon can't just come into work and just say whatever he wants to say. He can't just decide on his own, you know what, I'm going to make a new series and we're just going to talk about how the Republicans are racist. I know somebody's going to say that's exactly what he does. But I'm saying literally, like, start a series. He can't do that. You know who can do that? Tim Pool, Blaze TV, Newsmax, TYT, Steven Crowder. These guys are accountable to no one. They can do whatever they want. So what do you think that is going to lead to? These are just regular human beings. They're not angels. They're not some kind of philanthropist. They are regular people. And what are most regular people like? Self-interested. All about self, right? That's what it is. That's the reality of human nature. We're focused on ourselves. So independent media guys, that's what their focus is. I want to be a big YouTuber. I want to make a lot of money. I want more engagement. I want more profits, more profits, more profits. But again, what do these independent guys tell you all the time? Mainstream media, corporate news, right? Instead of doing what I do, what do I really go after? It's not about mainstream media. I say partisan media is a problem. Partisan media is toxic. I don't care whether you're independent. I don't care what. I don't give a rat's ass. Irrelevant. You can be a corporate news network and you can choose to have integrity, but they exist for profits. You can be an independent news network and you can choose integrity, but they exist for profits, right? You have different levels of integrity. Some YouTubers are not as bad as others. Some are better than others, right? But generally speaking, what is their focus? Their focus is profits. And it's much more sort of toxic for independent. Why? Because as an independent guy who doesn't have enough money in your bank account to not work another day in your life, it can be scary, right? Sometimes you see overnight channels just die or they get demonetized or whatever it is, right? If you don't have Don Lemon money, if you don't have Tucker Carlson money, right? And then you got this algorithm and every day you're trying to get something and you're competing with all these independent channels, right? It's hard for you to have integrity in that space, right? Because you're looking at how am I going to pay my bills? Even for the guys that make a lot of money, it's like, okay, I make a lot of money now, but this feels weird. Like I'm literally just sitting in front of a camera, just like saying stuff and I'm making all this money. How long can this last? What happens if my channel dies? That you don't think that people at the top on YouTube, they don't think like that? Right? Again, the guys in corporate media, these guys have enough money, enough net worth that they don't have to work. So they're not gonna be as sort of like in independent media, you're gonna find sort of a crackhead mentality, right? And the thing is, like, in terms of the quest for views and profits and I gotta get engagement, like they can get in this like crackhead, like I need to get a next fix. I need my next fix. Look, I'll suck you. You know what I mean? Like they can get in that mode because again, they don't have the kind of money corporate media has, right? And they're looking at their bills and they're looking at how quickly people, channels can just evaporate. And then if you've been doing it for like 5 years, 10 years, you may be thinking to yourself, okay, so if my channel evaporates, then what am I gonna do? My resume says 10 years of YouTube, right? Will I be able to go back at a regular job or whatever? So you're gonna have a lot of these people that will actually be scared and terrified. Like, I quit my job to do this thing, and what if it doesn't work out, right? So they're caught up in this metrics, looking at the views and engagement, and in that mode, what are you gonna choose? You're gonna choose in movies, it's sex and violence, right? I'm not that good of a writer. I don't have that good of a concept. So what am I gonna do? Tits and bombs, right? That's what I'm gonna do. Things are blowing up, boobs are everywhere, right? Sex sells, violence sells. That's what you're gonna do. In politics, propaganda sells, right? Every day, the liberals, all the liberals, every day, the right-wingers are racist, right? That's what Jimmy Dore does. That's what MSNBC does. That's what CNN does. That is what Tim Pool does. That is what Stephen Crowder does. That's what Ben Shapiro does. That is the heart of American media, and almost no one else is willing to say that because conflict of interest. If you're in independent media, you're not going to want to say the truth about independent media. You're going to rather pretend that legacy media is the problem, right? At the same time, you're making videos saying, legacy, who's watching that? Nobody's watching, and look at their ratings are so low. Oh, nobody's watching this trash. Meanwhile, you spend so much time talking about CNN. Look what CNN is doing. Look at CNN this, and CNN had its new show and it failed. All this time talking about mainstream media, talking about legacy media that you admit nobody's watching. That is yesterday. Right now, the whole thing where everything is going is new media, independent media. Right? That is where you have places like people like Alex Jones, right? Stephen Crowder. The worst actors in American media are independent. Ironically, some of the best are also independent. But overall, because there's a low barrier to entry, so you have a lot of bad faith actors, right? Who are attracted like, look how much money these YouTubers are making. And all they do is sit in front of a camera and say, I could do that. So many people attracted to the easy money. Right? I'm not saying it's all easy. Like it's a lot of work involved. But I mean, the idea like I don't have to have some kind of really technical skill I got to go to school for, whatever. I'm good at speaking. I have a good personality and I pick the right topics. Right? You have a lot of people that are going to be on that. Like back when I was a kid, it was, I want to be a rock star. I want to play in the NBA. Right now I want to be a YouTuber. Right? That's what it is. So you have a lot of bad faith actors. Maybe some people are struggling. They're making maybe you're working in Walmart. And if you could get a successful YouTube channel, double, triple your salary, what would a person do in their quest to get themselves out of poverty, knowing that they could possibly do it, sitting in their basement, talking into a camera, saying, oh, this and that, oh, the Democrats this, Democrats that. Like, this is what you see mainstream media doing, right? You see liberal media always attacking the right, not so much the left, right? You see right-wing media doing the opposite, right? You see the biggest YouTube channels are in politics, super partisan, right? The biggest YouTube channels, super one-sided, super partisan, and then you have a whole millions of people watching this. And what are they thinking to themselves? Wow, I need to do that. I'm going to create a channel that's every day attacking the left. Oh, the left, the left, the left. Every day attacking the right. Oh, the right, the right, the right. And then I'm gonna attack the boogeyman. Oh, mainstream media. Oh, mainstream media. They're the devil. Oh my goodness, there's so much trash. You know, unlike me, who's not doing what they're doing in reverse, right? I'm gonna talk about right-wing media. All they do is talk about liberal media. But then my channel, all I'm doing is talking about right-wing media, right? I'm going to be on the right talking about, oh, liberal media, all they do is attack us. They attack conservatives. Meanwhile, every video, oh, liberal this, the left this. American media is bullshit. And nobody else is going to want to tell you the truth to your face, right? They all want to get the spin. Oh, it's mainstream media. Oh, it's your political opponents. They're the problem. It's them. It's corporate media. It's the other ideology, right? Not me. I'm not doing the same thing, right? I'm not giving you the 98% going after the other side, 2% going after my side, kind of, right? It's them. It's them. It's those guys over there, right? Jimmy Dore. Oh, Hassan, MSNBC trash, right? Look at that. They lie about this. They lie about that. They omit certain details. Unlike Jimmy Dore, who's just a comedian. He's just a comedian. Don't try to hold his feet to the fire. He's just telling jokes. It's supposed to be funny, guys. Ha ha. What's the joke? The joke is, oh, Hassan does a debate with Matt Taibi, and the whole debate is just, he made 3 errors. For half an hour, they talked about, oh, you made 3 errors. That was the whole debate. That's very funny, Jimmy Dore. Ha ha ha. Oh, it's so funny. Jimmy Dore, he's just a comedian, right? That's very funny, right? Half the video talking about MSNBC and Hassan rather than the substance of the conversation. Oh, that's hilarious. Ha ha ha. Jimmy Dore, man, when is his next show? Can I buy a ticket for it? Right? Because he's certainly more hilarious than those evil people in mainstream media. Oh, those guys. Ah, there's nothing funny about that. But Jimmy Dore, he always cracks me up. Anyway, let me see who's in the chat. I'm sure there's some crazy comments. Big Wheels, truth about Twitter files. Oh man, it is hot as hell. What is going on? Holy crap. I'm sweating my ass off in here. That's why I need a drop top. Pull up with my top missing. Truth about Twitter files is about the exposure of the federal. Oh man. Hassan can. Oh jeez. I don't need a good debater to see. Oh. So they don't have to work. Right. Exactly. They don't do 80 miles per hour on the freeway while streaming either. That's right. This is the only channel we do that. Streaming live, delivering the goods, not pandering to either side, giving a middle finger, to both sides, right? And not doing this, oh, I'm a centrist, so, I'm in the middle. Or the left, they've gone too far, and the right has gone, no. Right? I'm not with the centrists. I'm not with the leftists. I'm not with the right-wingers, right? I'm with the people who live in reality. I'm with the people that have critical thinking. I'm with the people who their stated values actually mean something. It's not just virtue signaling. Big ass flags on the back of your truck, wearing the stars and stripes uniform clothes, whatever, right? Black Lives Matter all over your yard. You gotta wear the shirt. Yeah, BLM, right? All that bullshit, right? I'm not with the cliques. I'm not with the tribes, right? I'm with the people who live in reality, who can sit back and say, hey, the conservatives have a point about this thing. I don't like the way they're going about it. I don't think they're being good faith. potentially, but they have a good point about that thing. I think the left is wrong about that thing, right? Oh, the left has a good point about this other thing, right? I heard their points, I looked into it, and I think I kind of siding with them. I'm against the right on that topic, right? It's not about ideology, it's not about a side, it's about truth and facts. Whose information seems to be most closely aligned with reality and truth and facts? That's who I'm with, right? I'm with whoever's speaking the truth, whoever is most aligned with reality. And if I don't really see anybody who is aligned with reality enough, if I see all the people that are talking, the loudest voices are significantly, away from reality, then that's where I dig in, look at the information myself. One of the tricks I utilize is I do look at what the partisans are saying on each side, because I know that each side is incentivized to find problems with the other side. So that can save me time. Now, a lot of stuff they will say, sometimes attacking the other side will be nonsense, or they twist it or spin it, but I can recognize that, right? So I can go through it and see, okay, what is the other side saying about this thing, right? Okay, that's nonsense, that's nonsense. Oh, that's a good point. Now you've clued me in on something. Let me dig in on that. That seems legit. Let me research that thing which I didn't hear the other side talking about, right? And I do it in reverse. Right? What is this side saying about this issue? Oh, that's nonsense. Oh, they're being dishonest about this. They're trying to make it seem worse than it is. Oh, that's actually a very good point. And now I'm looking at the response to that point, or ignoring of that point by the other side. Oh, this side is being dishonest on that thing, right? That's where I'm at. Fuck blue MAGA, red MAGA, online leftists, online right-wingers, online conservatives. Fuck all the tribes. Tribes are bullshit. I don't stand with none of y'all. I don't stand with no centrists who, in my opinion, I know I got some potentially watching, I'm not with you guys, right? I am a radical, a real radical, not a radical from a point of virtue signaling and I'm a socialist. No, I'm a radical because I want radical change, drastic change in this country. I believe there's some very serious fundamental issues in this country, and I don't believe in little piecemeal stuff and crumbs. I want drastic change, but I am not just, adopting that rhetoric from a tribe that I want to associate with. This is my own personal assessment of how I see the country, right? My consumption of information, right? And not my analysis. That's where I come to, right? So I am basically politically homeless. I can't stand with the right, can't stand with the left, I can't stand with the centrists, right? I stand with whoever I see on whatever topic who's most aligned with truth. But ultimately, I'm an independent, right? I think for myself, I look at the data for myself, and I come to my own conclusions, right? And I don't have a desire for one conclusion over the other. My only desire is for the truthful conclusion, for the factual conclusion. That is where I'm coming from. And I can be legit because I'm not here looking for friends. I'm not trying to run a business. I don't need to try to say stuff that will get me clicks and whatever. That stuff does not matter to me. I'm not here looking for fame, to make money. It's not a business for me. So I can be 100% raw and truthful, unlike any other, right? Because again, if you spend a lot of time doing videos on YouTube, chances are you're trying to run a business, right? Corporate news, business. People on YouTube talking about stuff, business, right? There's almost no one on YouTube who is on here just trying to say stuff, sharing their thoughts. They're all trying to run a business. They don't want to admit it, but that's what they're trying to do. I'm not trying to run a business, right? I have no interest. I think this platform is toxic. I think it's dangerous in terms of I could spend a lot of time building up a channel and overnight it vanish. I'm not interested in that. Think about a normal business. Would you get involved in being a barber if you knew that you could wake up one morning and your barbershop is just gone? Would you ever have any interest in that? Would you ever want to be a doctor if you knew that you could work hard for 10 years, put your best foot forward, and all of a sudden you wake up one morning, you go to the office, and your name is off the thing, and it's just like, okay, you're no longer a doctor. Sorry. Right? I would never be a doctor in those circumstances. I would never want to be a YouTuber. I don't want to have my life be dictated by some software. The algorithm decides what my content should be like and whether I'm going to do well or not. No, I want to be in a world where my actual work matters, right? If I put my effort into something and I work hard at something, right, I get rewarded based on that, right? I don't have to blur the lines of my values because I'm serving some software program, right? Algorithm doesn't like this, so let me stop doing that. Algorithm likes this. That is, I don't know how people do it. I would lose my soul if that's what I did for a living. I'm gonna be, you know, my whole life and how I pay my bills is based on serving some digital master. Now I know to some degree we all do serve to some degree a digital master, just that's the world we living in. But no one more so than a YouTuber on this platform. And I guess social media in general. Not interested. Anyway, this is the Baby channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. Jimmy Dore, tirade, top notch. Don't watch legacy media. Tune out and watch us. Right. That's why Matt Taibi went to appealing to those more conservatives. True independent doesn't pay the bills. Right. They don't do it yet. All right, guys. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the likes. This is the Baby channel, and I'm out. And I'm sweaty balls. That's gross. All right, guys. I'm on fire. I'm on fuego tonight.